Less than 12 hours to go for the big results of Maharashtra and Jharkhand. Of course, these results will start coming in tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and political parties have already started preempting the outcome, making preparations accordingly. From what we know, parties, specifically the Congress, have made multiple arrangements to keep its flock together. Equally important monitoring, but of a different kind, is being done by the Mahayuti allies, where the parties are hoping that the significant jump in the women's voter turnout in Maharashtra is because of the Ladki Bahin Yojana. In fact, Chief Minister Eknath Shinde held a meeting with his party leaders today, as did NCP founder Sharad Pawar. Shiv Sena UPT spokesperson Sanjay Raut, meanwhile, has alleged that the BJP-led Mahayuti has been contacting independent candidates and offering them bribes in the recently held elections. After Raut made these remarks, BJP actually hit back, saying that it doesn't want to snatch his right to dream. Meanwhile, a war of words also broke out between Congress State President Nana Patole and Shiv Sena UPT MP Sanjay Raut over who will be the chief ministerial face of MVA. Now, of course, this is a battle of prestige for some, battle of survival for others, and of course, an action-packed day before results. The big question, will Maharashtra spring a surprise and give a clear verdict this time? Or will there be a lot of post-poll action? Will smaller parties become significant? All those big questions there. We'll attempt to address some of them today, even as election results are all set to come out in a few hours from now. Before I go across to my panel of guests, let me go across to my colleague Radhika, who has more details on what really happened in Maharashtra today, just ahead of the poll results.
Much awaited Maharashtra Assembly election results tomorrow. Difficult to predict at this point. Parties certainly in a huddle today. In fact, they're looking at all permutations and combinations to shore up numbers in case of a hung assembly. Of course, both sides very confident of a victory. Some of the Congress leaders, in fact, saying 165 will be their number, and that chief minister face will also be decided within 12 hours of results. Mahayuti leaders, on the other hand, saying they will clinch close to 180 seats. So today, all the parties holding meetings, discussions on probabilities as well as strategies. Ramesh Channitala, Nana Patole holding meeting with Congress leaders and candidates. Devendra Fadnavis and Bhupendra Yadav also held meeting with BJP leaders. Uddhav Thackeray also holding discussions with Sena functionaries this afternoon, and Eknath Shinde's meeting with Sena spokesperson as well. So parties certainly strategizing about what next if they are short of majority. They obviously have to take help of independents, rival candidates or smaller parties, and also have to make sure that their MLAs, their candidates, their leaders are all flocked together. So yes, looks like it's going to be a nail-biting result day tomorrow. Is it Mahayuti again, or will MVA manage to make a comeback? We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Thank you, Radhika, for those critical details. We have a panel of experts with us now. Of course, also party spokespersons. We have Gopal Krishna Agarwal of the BJP. We have Charan Singh Sapra of the Congress Party, spokesperson of the Congress Party, also working president of the Mumbai Congress. And we have Amitabh Tiwari, political analyst, joining us. Thank you, all of you, for joining me on this broadcast. First to the expert, sir, Amitabh Tiwari, while the BJP has contested the highest number of seats, which is 148, it really has to depend on its partners to actually, to get that magic number. Similarly, the Congress has contested on 101 seats. It also has to rely on its partners. Tell us, in the case of whatever happens, whatever outcome, is there for us to see tomorrow, what is the larger implication for BJP and Congress?
So clearly the larger implication for both BJP and Congress is that if the Mahayuti is able to win this state, then it will be the third or the fourth state in succession after Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Haryana, where it has been able to turn the tables around and come victorious. Then what it can highlight or show to its supporters is that 2024 was an aberration, and the BJP has successfully won Haryana and Maharashtra, and then it gives some confidence to the BJP leadership to continue with its contentious bills like the Waqf bill or the One Nation, One Poll or even the UCC, and its bargaining power among or with the allies also improves. However, if the Congress is able to, or the Maha Vikas Aghadi is able to win this election, then what it means is that 2024 was not an aberration. There are issues like farmer distress, inflation, unemployment, which are impacting people's lives, and the government needs to do something urgently about this. And it also cements, I think, Congress party's position in the overall India bloc. It would emerge as the clear leader of the India bloc, and it also gives confidence to the leadership, which is the High Command, which is the Rahul Gandhi and Mr. Khadge, that they are on the right track of campaign, which is raising these issues locally, and also the caste census, which perhaps is getting traction. So two different mandates will give two different implications, or will have two different implications, and we'll have to wait and watch how
So
this
these are the
pans out.
implications for the national parties and for the regional parties. Of course, it is a battle of survival. To you, Mr. Sapra, a lot is being talked about women's significant voter turnout that happened yesterday. Of course, a lot of that is also being attributed to the fact that Ladki Bahin Yojana was the flagship program which the Mahayuti relied upon. And of course, today we did see, a lot of banter, a lot of back and forth between Nana Patole and Sanjay Raut. There's, how confident are you of this victory, and also the fact that women really voted for you, and the fact that these discussions on the chief ministerial phase has already begun. Is this a sign of overconfidence, or is this a sign of just being very cautious and prepared?
See, number one, we are very confident, and let me tell you that Mahavikas Aghadi will get a clear mandate. We'll get a clear majority, and we won't be needing many of the independents which they might win tomorrow. As far as the other thing is concerned, you were saying that women have voted in large numbers. Yeah, women have voted, but that doesn't mean that they have voted just because of that Ladki Bahin Yojana. You see, the major issue in Maharashtra was also inflation. The kind of essential prices of essential commodities, how they have risen, that has directly affected a woman. So women have come out and they have voted against the Mahayuti, who could not control inflation, who could not control the agrarian crisis, who could not control the rising unemployment, who could not control the financial crisis in the state,
right,
and who have ditched the people by just promising various things but doing nothing. So these are the things, and we are not bothered if more women have come and they have voted. They have voted for Mahavikas Aghadi also.
Okay.
Now let me come to the third point of the chief ministership, which you said.
Yes.
I feel the Mahavikas Aghadi, we have good understanding among our state leaders, and all the leaders, including Uddhav Thackerayji and even the senior Congress leaders, have always said, during the campaign also and earlier also, we have said that things will get decided after the results are out. The elected MLAs will choose their leader, and the party high command will also have due consultation with the elected MLAs.
Right.
So I don't think so there's going to be much of the hassle in selecting the chief minister.
Okay. Let me go across to Mr. Agarwal. Marathwada, if you look at this part of the state, it's crucial for the BJP. In the Lok Sabha elections, we know that the party could not win a single seat from this part of the state, and it was largely attributed to the Maratha reservation that was taking place. And in the 8 seats in Marathwada, there has been a dip in voter turnout. 3 of them are in Beed district, which is of course Dhananjay Munde and of course Pankaja Munde. In Western Maharashtra also, there's been at least 8 seats which have recorded a dip in turnout. These are 2 difficult areas for you when it comes to the alliance, Mahayuti alliance working out, because Sharad Pawar is powerful in one. The Mahavikas Aghadi is seen as a potent force in Marathwada. Do you think this is something that is indicative of your prospects in this part of the state?
We have to understand that what is the agenda with which Congress has been working and opposition had been working. They want to divide they have a divisive agenda, one thing. And that in addition, their whole governance is with regard to the support for some of the family members or individual members or a group of persons. People have seen that if we want a stable government, if we want a government that works efficiently, if we want a government that can enhance the image of the country at the global level, which works for the economic growth of the country, so, and which has a basic formula of our government is Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and Sabka Vishwas.
Right.
So the difference between the opposition ruled states and those states which have which are being ruled by the BJP or NDA. That is quite clear to the people. In 2024 central election and this, based on what results of 2024 central election, some people think that BJP had a setback or NDA had a setback in Maharashtra, same may continue. It is not the case. That time a false narrative was built. People are now understanding that this was a false narrative, whether to change the constitution, etc. And that false narrative is now broken away. The efficiency of BJP-run government is very clear to the people, and the economic growth, the delivery mechanism, e-governance, efficient delivery mechanism.
So you're
All
saying
these are
governance is
very
something
clear, and
that
people
changed the
are
mood
voting on that.
of the people. Amitabh Tiwari, when you talk about smaller parties, there were at least 29 seats that were won by smaller parties in the last assembly elections, and this time also we know that Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi is contesting on almost 67 seats. There's also MIM and of course MNS, and Vanchit Bahujan Aghadi last time also led to 7% vote share, and that was seen as a disruptive force when it comes to Mahavikas Aghadi's prospects. This time, when Prakash Ambedkar has said that if we get good numbers, we will support the parties in government formation because we want to go with party that is forming the government. Do you see this happening in the state of Maharashtra? Because in Haryana, we saw JJP and INLD completely collapse, which became, a direct fight between the BJP and Congress, and also led to the Congress's reduction in numbers.
See, essentially, we are seeing that there is a trend of bipolarity even at the national level and at the state levels. However, the fact that there were 6 parties in these 2 alliances has given rise to a lot of rebellion in both the alliances. While we talk about 40 to 50 rebels on seats, actually there are 139 seats on which there are rebels from both MVA, from either MVA or Mahayuti or both the parties, either of significant stature leaders or some small leader, 139 seats. So there is a big role of independents and smaller parties historically also in Maharashtra. In Lok Sabha, they got only 12% vote share, but we've seen 24 to 25% vote share is the average. 25 to 30 seats is the average. Normally, smaller parties, independents, even if you see of these 29 who were MLAs in 2019, earlier, most of them used to back the Mahavikas Aghadi. When the government changed, most of them shifted their allegiance to the Mahayuti alliance, because these smaller parties and independents tend to be with the government because they need development funds for their own Vidhan Sabhas and to have a good presence or a hold there. So they will go with the wind, whoever is in winning or whoever has a good chance to form the government or whoever is forming the government.
So that seems to be a very workable idea. A complex political landscape, of course, did emerge in the state of Maharashtra. Unlike national elections, which presented a clear battle between 2 narratives, what we saw in the state this time was a mix of multiple issues and factors, something that I expect will be reflected in the results tomorrow. Thank you all of you for joining me.